So they contribute. You got Caravan with 14, Newton with 10, Castle with 12. Spencer has 8 in the ball game, but he'll end up with double figures at some point. The Friars, not much balance out there for the Friars. Devin Carter has 17 of the 32 points. Oduro has just 6. Pierre 1, Floyd 2, and Rich Barron with 2 3-pointers here in the second half with 6.
So UConn has actually outscored the Friars 9-8. 11-8, here in the half. And it's 53-32 with 15:46 to go.
You look at the efficiency of UConn on the offensive end, John, but their defense is really good too. The Friars have some issues on the offensive end. They get guys who can score, but the other guys, when Pierre isn't making shots or Ticket Gaines isn't making shots. Gaines has 0 points in the ball game in 23 minutes. To beat a team like UConn, you can't have 0 points from the starter.
Can't do it. But yet that's the problem tonight. Friars have got to figure that out in the coming days and weeks and maybe months and even years. Here is Klingon, hands off left side. Caravan throws up the floater on the left side. Too strong. Carter gets the defensive rebound.
Carter has a ton of rebounds in this ball game too. That's his 8th rebound.
Carter with the ball in the forecourt, gets around Castle, drives to the right side, picked up by Caravan. Now Oduro pops out in the high post, grabs the ball, wants to hand it off. Barron tries to come over and gives it to Gaines on the left wing. Back up front for Pierre. Pierre now works on the left side against Newton, drives inside, put it up, and it got pinned off the backboard by Klingon and saved by Oduro. With 6 to shoot. He's going to turn around and fire the 3, and it's an air ball. Newton gets the rebound. He pushes up the forecourt, up the middle, leaves it to Caravan, goes left to Spencer. Spencer out front. Friars want a goaltend on that because they got pinned on the backboard but didn't get the call. Top of the key, now Spencer works left, looks double team, finds Klingon, scores. Just the second basket of the game for Donovan Klingon.
But they're so patient out there, this UConn team. Very unselfish too. They'll throw 5-6 passes before they shoot the ball.
55-32. 14:35 to play. Pierre drives down the lane, has the ball knocked away, goes out of bounds with it, and it's going to be UConn ball as Castle came up and made that play and forced Pierre into the tough shot, tough pass.
Oh, Pierre's just having a terrible ball game. He's just got no rhythm out there. His decision-making hasn't been good. He's been good all year. In this ball game, he has really had a tough one.
And he has no Garway Dual to sub for him, who's out with the flu tonight. UConn with the ball. It's a heck of a night for Pierre to go like this, and they have nothing from Ticket Gaines, and it's a big reason why you're down by 23. High with it is Castle, drives to the right, pulls over the 16-footer, short. Rebound Samson Johnson, can't get that, and then finally Carter gets another rebound.
Another offensive rebound for UConn. Friars get lucky there, missed the layup.
Double team out on Carter. Castle's going to stay on him. He'll drive left. Offensive foul called on Oduro as he collided with Castle right in front of the Friar bench. That's 3 on Josh. First foul of the second half of the Friars here with 14:04 to go. And Caravan will inbound to the backcourt in front of the Providence bench to Spencer, who'll bring it up against Jaden Pierre. Spencer spins into the forecourt left, now back to the right, keeps the dribble low, passes off to Hassan Diarra, who's checked in to the top of the key with the dribble against Carter. Works his way right. Spencer coming off the screen, offensive foul, they're going to reverse it. And it's called on Johnson for the illegal screen.
Well, just calling on Oduro, good thing because Spencer was wide open to knock down the 3. But the ball movement and body movement of UConn is really good. They're all moving, setting screens. Nobody stands still in this team.
Nope. It is a constant movement. And that's what makes UConn so hard to defend. First foul of the second half on the Huskies.
Hands off and score, too.
Barron, bounce pass, finds Carter. Carter between the circles. Oduro sets the screen, steps out of that, works to the right. Now stops his dribble. Pierre comes out. 17 to shoot. Pierre on the right sideline. There's another double team waiting for him. He gets to the foul line, leans into the left side, turns around. Fadeaway is up and in, and Pierre gets his first basket of the game.
That shot all year. You can make that shot. I don't know why he doesn't take it.
Makes it 55-34. Newton comes off a screen left, picked up by Gaines on the left sideline. Now reverses back to the right, gets in the lane, throws up the runner. It's short, got a foul.
Well, Gaines hit him across the arm that time.
Yep, Gaines is called for his first foul of the game. Second team foul here of the half, 13-12 to go.
Well, and Newton, what the guards do very well for this team, they have 3 guards in the lineup right now for UConn, is they set the initial screen, they go over it, and then they come back and use it again. And they know you're going to chase over, and they can turn the corner, and they all have those good little floaters in the paint, and they're good foul shooters as well. So very good 3-guard offense out there.
Newton hits the first free throw. It's his 11th point of the game. About 80% from the foul line on the season for the Big East Player of the Year candidate. Second shot around the rim, it goes back in. He's got 12 in the ball game. It's been almost a real standoff with Carter. Carter's got 17, but Newton's team is all over the place. And I think most of the time the coaches kind of look at the best player on the best team, and that might be Tristan Newton. Driving to the right side on Carter to the foul line, hesitates, drives in on DR, lays it up, and goes in.
Yeah, nobody can guard Carter. I mean, they're really looking at him. Whoever's got him, the help defense comes over as well, but Carter has been
He needs help.
unstoppable out there tonight.
He needs help. Pretty simple. He's got 19 in the game. Left side Caravan on the wing now for Spencer. Up high for Newton, backs it out against Carter. High post for Johnson. Johnson has one dribble, stops his dribble, has nobody to go to, turns, looks at the basket, hands off. Newton curls to the right, goes down the lane. Alley-oop. Johnson's there, and he touches it in.
I mean, how good is that? Johnson looked like he was in trouble, but Newton went and got the ball from him and then turned the corner.
And that's the difference between these two teams. There's recognition by the Connecticut players where there's just none for the Providence players.
No, Providence has recognition. They need more guys to do it.
And they're not. That's the problem. Here's Oduro to the right side. Barron gets off a deep 3. It's off the rim. Rebound for Newton. Newton works into the right side toward the Connecticut bench. Now reverses, goes right down the lane, throws up the runner, missed it. Gets his own rebound. Ball gets tipped. It goes out of bounds. Friars touched it last. And Connecticut will keep the ball with a timeout on the floor. And 11:57 to play. UConn with a 59-36 lead. From Learfield, this is Providence Friar basketball. Yeah, maybe.
I don't think so.
Maybe. This team is better than last year's UConn team. Better.
They're way better.
I mean, I think, on a good night, we can certainly play with, Creighton and Marquette and anybody else in this league, but UConn is a different beast.
I watched Houston today just annihilate Kansas.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Houston's a very good team. That'll be a good game, Houston, Connecticut. Purdue, they just do the same stuff every year. Yeah. Big Ten crap. I mean, I don't see them as a threat. They're just too slow. And
I think it'll be either Houston or UConn. I agree with that.
Yeah, me too.
Milton Cat, your Caterpillar equipment dealer for the Northeast, is a proud sponsor of Providence College Athletics. John and Joe back inside the amp. We got 11:57 to go. It's been all Connecticut since about 4 minutes deep into this basketball game. They lead it now by 23.
Yeah, I mean, keep talking about it, but I mean, they're very impressive, John. When we're talking off air, you look at the national championship picture and you think about teams that have a chance to win it, and Houston's a very interesting team there. They're fast, and they all can shoot. They can score. They can spread you out a lot like Connecticut. They don't have the size of Connecticut, but I think if those two teams are playing against each other, that'd be a heck of a ball game. You look at the stats here, too, in the game. Carter's 8 for 14 in the game. I mean, there's nobody on Connecticut that are able to guard him. The rest of the Friars are 5 for 25. Whew. And, you need help. You got to have guys. And I said coming in here, people all day were asking me, you think the Friars have a chance in this ball game? I said, yeah, you got to probably shoot about 75% to win the ball game. But, Carter's doing his part, but the rest of the guys really have a tough time making shots.
And that's the issue. The issue is you don't have what UConn has, and if you want to get to that level, then you need more players, and you need more guys that can shoot the ball, and that's really got to be it.
Marshawn Brooks just stepped over here to say hello while we're
Marshawn, what's up, kiddo? How you doing, man?
Marshawn,
you got any eligibility left?
We a couple of jumpers out here, Marshawn.
We could use some. Yeah, we could use a few jumpers.
I miss you.
Yeah, Marshawn, man.
Oh my goodness.
Get Marshawn to make some shots, but Marshawn couldn't guard people though. So he
remember the night he had 52 in here against Notre Dame, right?
No, man, he shot the lights out. It'd be nice to get another guy who can make some shots for the Friars, but give Connecticut credit. I mean, they played good defense on everybody, but Carter's the guy who just extinguished. Yeah, he was the guy that been awesome for the Friars.
UConn with the ball. They'll inbound it here from the baseline near their bench in the corner to Johnson. Johnson on the right sideline now turns and looks, tries to give it off, and does so to Diarra. Diarra drives on Pierre to the left side, works off a screen, drives right to the hoop, kicks it off to Johnson, who slams it home. Great dribble penetration that time, and Johnson just cleans it up. He's got 8 in the ballgame.
I like have Johnson as your backup center. He could start at a lot of teams too.
No question. Bounce pass from Pierre, intercepted by Johnson.
Another turnover by Pierre that time.
Tipped it away, and the bad night just continues to roll for Jake.
That's his 6th turnover. It's tough when your point guard has 6 turnovers.
Right side pass again. Johnson has it out on the perimeter. At the top of the key, a handoff for Castle, who drives to the right, kicks the ball back to Johnson. Jump hook off the rim, no good. Oduro with a rebound. Pushes up the right sideline for Carter. Carter's going to drive on Stewart right to the rim, lays it up, missed it, rebound tip, and no control there by UConn as Castle controls it.
Good move by Carter, but above the rim that was.
Spencer catch and shoot 3, rims in and out. Johnson with the offensive rebound. Left corner for Diarra, won't take the shot. He's going to pull it back outside again. That's what Danny Hurley directs him to do, so he pulls the ball out on the perimeter here with 10:45 to play. Under 10 to shoot. Diarra works to the right side on Oduro, crosses over, gets into the lane, leans in, runs the jumper up, no good. Oduro gets the rebound.
They wanted Diarra to get a shot that time. They ran the play for him.
Here comes Carter off a high screen, gives it to Oduro, drives out to Barron, left corner, 3-pointer for Gaines. Nope, got fouled. Jalen Stewart fouls Gaines in the corner as he missed the shot. It'll be 3 free throws for Ticket Gaines.
Gaines falls on every 3-point shot he takes a dive on it. And he gets the officials to bite at least once a game on that shot there. He had no chance to make that one, but he hit the deck like he was fouled, and he gets to the line for 3.
Gaines has not scored in this game. That's certainly a factor in the large deficit right now. He's 0 for 3. And the fact he's only taken 3 shots is another factor.
Well, the defense has been very good on him. And he's not going to beat you off the dribble, so he has to come off screens and make shots.
There's his first point of the night, 75% from the line on the year. And the Friars are 7 for 10 as a team from the line tonight, which is right on their average. Second shot for Ticket is good. And Corey Floyd back into the Friars. Donovan Klingon and Tristan Newton back in for Connecticut. Jaden Pierre goes out for the Friars. 10:26 to go. And one more shot for Ticket Gaines at the foul line.
When they go to the bench, they have a 7-man rotation, and it doesn't change. Whoever goes in there,
Ticket hits the third one.
Is as good as the guy who's came out.
Yep.
But they're using 8 guys tonight. Stewart's getting a little bit more minutes.
61-39, 10:20 to go. And Newton now has it mid-force circle. Friars are going to go a little zone. Right side, handoff for Diarra. Diarra now goes back center. Almost knocked away, and then Carter bumps into Castle, going with a steal, and Devin gets called for his second personal.
Well, they almost had that pass. Evans closes on the ball pretty quickly. But you know what Newton did that time? He just front, Castle front met the pass, so he had to run into him.
13 foul on the Friars. Newton gets the inbound out front now for Castle again against the Friars zone. Comes off a high screen. Pass goes down low, and it goes.
Well, the Friars snuck out,
inside.
tried to take away the 3-point shot, but they find Klingham on the pass, and he just
gets
dunks
the
it home.
deuce. Yep. Dumped it off inside against that zone. Klingham gets his 3rd basket of the night. Floyd to the right wing. Carter has it on the sideline. Castle's right there on top of him. And so Castle to Carter. Carter comes around, wraps it out to Gaines, who gets off a 3 and hits.
Good pass there by Carter. Had a double team on him. That freed up a teammate. Gaines wide open. He knocked down the shot.
First field goal of the game, but there's Klingon down the other way, beating the defense down the floor, and he jams it home. 8 for Klingon in the game. Oh, my goodness. 65-42. 9:22 to go. Driving to the right is Corey Floyd. Out to Oduro. Fakes Klingon on the three. Drives right around him and misses the dunk. He missed the dunk.
Well, he got by Klingon, but Klingon didn't give up on the play. Might have bothered him a little bit when he went for the dunk.
Newton, Klingon, going to step back and fire a three. My goodness. Insult to injury right there.
Yeah,
Klingon hits the three. He's 1 for 5 on the season from three. That's just his second made three.
Well,
and there's Klingon with a steal underneath. And they call him for an over-the-back foul.
That's a mercy call right there. That's a terrible call.
That's a terrible call. You're right.
The pass looked like it went to Klingon, not Oduro. The ball was too high for Oduro.
Second foul on Klingon, just the third foul in Connecticut in the half. Bad call. I think you're right. Mercy call. The Friars will get it back. 23 to shoot. 8:56 on the game clock. Trailing 68-42. Floyd inbounds to Oduro. Oduro has it at the top of the key. And he's going to drive on Klingon. Spins to the right side. Steps through it. Finds Floyd on the left wing. He's going to shoot the deep three. And it goes around the rim and spins out. Oduro grabs the offensive rebound. Klingon comes over the back to tie him up. They'll call a held ball, and the arrow belongs to who else? Connecticut.
That was a good look by Corey. Just
it spun around 3 times and came out. Wow. That's sort of his entire season in just a microscopic moment.
Yep. You know what? Look at this Connecticut team, John. It's so impressive. They don't show any emotion out there. They just play. I mean, they don't make mistakes. They're so good
This is like artificial intelligence playing basketball.
That's a good analogy. I mean, they look, they're so efficient. They're fun to watch.
Castle comes off the top of the key with a screen. Looks down low, finds Caravan out front. Now back to Castle again with 10 to shoot. Penetrates, finds Caravan, open three again. That one's off the mark.
Man, he was wide open, too. Good execution again by Connecticut. They get a lot of good looks.
Carter grabbed the rebound. He's got the dribble, comes off the screen, works the ball low. He's going to challenge inside. Ball gets knocked away. Bad pass. Stolen by Caravan. Now for Castle up the floor. Dumps it to Diarra. Blocked by Floyd. Loose on the floor. Friars come up with Oduro.
Great block there by Floyd.
Here's Carter splitting 2 defenders. Gets it out to Barron. Right corner. Three-pointer Gaines. Missed. Rebound. Boxed around. Klingon grabs it and saves it.
Another good look for Gaines there. Been able to knock it down.
And UConn just going to walk it into the forecourt here. 7:42 and counting down. They lead by 26. Castle sets the high screen. Newton rolls to the right. Now Castle shares it with Klingon up high. Hands off to Newton. Curls to the left. Gets down the lane. Elbow jumper up. Missed it. Oduro with a rebound.
I mean, they missed 2 shots in a row. They haven't done that very often since the beginning of the game.
Absolutely shocking. Oduro has the drive. Going to spin in the lane. Tries to get him up in the air. Throws up a fadeaway and scores over Klingon.
That's a tough shot. Klingon played good D on that one. He was able to extend out there, but Oduro was able to get it up over his hands.
That's the first basket of the second half for Josh Oduro. He's got 8 points in the game. 68-44. 7:05 to go. Largest lead has been 26 for UConn in this. Left sideline, Diarra. Up high, Castle. Outside the three-point stripe. Hands off. Newton bounces, Klingon on the high post. He's going to drive inside on Oduro. Oduro's going to get him with the body on the floor before the shot. And that's 4 fouls on Josh Oduro with 6:51 to go. And a timeout. UConn in control. 68-44. From Learfield, this is Providence Friar basketball.
Please welcome back to the floor your Providence Conference dance team.
Oh, that's cool.
Thanks, man. Well, big out for DeMar.
Well, you're going to have to win Wednesday, and then you're going to have to beat Creighton on Thursday to even have a shot. You got to win 2.
And you got to hope there's some upsets.
You got to hope there's some upsets, yep. But if you don't get a win over Creighton, it's not going to happen.
You know, in retrospect, if we won this game, we finished 5th. Then we have to play. You have to play Seton Hall. It's a winnable game, but then you have to play UConn.
Yeah.
But if you
Right.
beat them in here, that would be. But I mean, I just.
John and Joe back inside the amp. UConn in control of this one to this point in time. Providence Friar basketball brought to you in part by Rhode Island Restoration. For water, fire, or mold damage, call Rhode Island Restoration. 401-414-1111. Rhode Island's top choice for property damage cleanup and repair. Emergency service available 24/7.
Well, stats here in the second half. John Fry is 7 for 17. Not bad. 3 for 9, though, from three-point range. Perfect from the foul line, 3 for 3. UConn 10 for 24 in the second half at 41%. For the ball game, UConn is 26 for 58 at 44%, but they're 11 for 24 from three-point range. The last 4 ball games, the Friars have given up a lot of three-point shots. And Connecticut's been knocking everything down in this ball game, but Friars just 5 for 20 from three-point range and 15 for 45 for the ball game overall. But
Joe, how about this? The Friars have allowed now 42 made three-pointers in the last 4 games. Better than 10 per game.
yeah, that's a lot. I mean, you gotta try to take that away every game and make teams take tough twos. And they've been getting good looks. They're very efficient offense. This Connecticut offense, they move the ball in their bodies very well. Nobody stands around, and they throw the extra pass and get an open look, and they're able to knock them down. But what hurt the Friars as well, too, John, is they have 15 turnovers in the game. Connecticut just has 7. So Friars, you have those empty possessions. And against a great team like Connecticut, I mean, I can't praise them enough. I mean, that team is one of the best teams we've seen in quite a while. That team last year was pretty good. Friars were able to beat them early in the year. But you can think about last year's team, John, in Connecticut. They won the national championship. They lost 7 conference games last year. And they figured it out at the end of the year. They got better. This team has figured it out early in the year. And
they haven't stopped.
And they're getting better as well. I mean, they're just a very efficient group.
UConn with the basketball. Duro staying in there after picking up his 4th foul. It's the 4th foul in the half on the Friars. The ball gets tipped in underneath the basket. And that's
Caravan running out of bounds play. He gets a layup. They had 3 guys cutting. Got to worry about Newton and Spencer hitting shots, and Caravan gets a layup.
16 for Caravan of the game, 70-44, matching the largest lead at 26. Step back, three-pointer, Carter, air ball. Goes out of bounds. 6:31 to go. UConn will have the possession.
Can we go back to where it was 15-2?
Yeah.
Can we start all over again?
Can we start over? I mean, it was a heck of a start. I mean, it was a buzzsaw for the Friars to open the game. And then UConn just methodically punched away and punched away and punched away until they finally hit the Friars right in the solar plexus. It just knocked the wind out. It was about halfway through the half.
Veteran teams know. I mean, a 30-second shot clock, you got to play for 40 minutes.
Castle comes off the screen to the right side with 12 to shoot. High post to Caravan. Hands it back to Castle. Now comes to Caravan again. Klingon handles on the right sideline. Klingon hands off to Castle. Gets off a fadeaway 3. High rebound. Carter one arms it under the basket.
Carter has a ton of rebounds.
For Carter now, that's his 10th rebound. Driving underneath the lane with Caravan and Klingon right there. He reverses it out. Driving the lane is Oduro with a reverse layup and in.
Good move by Oduro right there. Nice job by Carter penetrating. And he draws 3 guys every time he goes to the basket, Carter. So somebody's going to be open. Oduro that time was able to get there.
70-46. UConn breaks the pressure into the forecourt right. Castle has it on the right wing. Friars are trying to press. They're trying to do what they can to disrupt UConn, but this is a machine out on the floor. One of the most efficient offensive and defensive machines we've seen in college basketball in years. Klingon at the top of the key with it. Hands off to Castle. Steps behind the line. Now penetrates left. Goes up the runner. Bank shot. No. Rebound Oduro under the glass.
Good box out there by Oduro. Castle had a good look. That's his game. A little mid-range game. Wasn't able to make that shot, though.
Here comes Pierre. Now coming off the screen, Carter. Kicks the ball back out to Oduro. He's going to launch a deep 3, and he hits.
Carter and Oduro, I mean, they can match up with Connecticut. The problem with the Friars is that the young guys they had in this one just couldn't match up with the old guys from Connecticut.
13 And the rebound, inbounds, almost goes out of bounds off of Carter as he dives into his bench to try to save it. UConn will keep the possession, but that's great hustle there by Devin Carter, still trying his you-know-what off here.
He almost stole that ball.
He almost took it on the inbounds, lost it.
He's amazing where he has that closing speed. I mean, he just like all of a sudden you think you got the pass to a teammate, and he's right there.
He's like a 6'4" cornerback with closing speed, you know?
Yeah,
and then she's got that kind of athleticism.
Well, he could play any sport, Carter.
I'm not sure what the officials now are thinking about here. We got 4:50 left to play.
Come on, Breeding. He wants some airtime. That's what he wants. You want to look at the model?
I'm not sure.
29 on the shot clock?
29. They're going to say there's a second off the shot clock.
Well, what's the difference? It's 70 to 49, and you're worried about 1 second on the shot clock.
Caravan inbounds to the Friar bench. There's a double team in the backcourt. Caravan now has it back. Jump pass into the forecourt right for Spencer. Spencer pulls it out in front of his own bench. Danny Hurley right there to instruct him. Works off the screen left. Curls down the left side of the lane on Pierre. Reverses with a right-hand push shot. No good. Rebound tipped almost in by Carter, but he gets the rebound. There comes Devin into the forecourt right. Drives right. Gets down low. Klingon is right there to box him out. Pierre now back out to Carter at the top of the key. He jab steps. He drives left. Throws up the runner. It goes in, and he gets fouled on the play.
How about Carter? He's just been unbelievable.
He's trying to do it all by himself right now as the foul is called on Castle. His third of the game, just the fourth on Connecticut here in the half. And Carter will have an opportunity at three the very hard way.
Devin Carter's 9 for 17, 2 for 6 from 3.
He has 21 points, 12 rebounds.
I mean, geez.
It's his 12th double-double of the season, the 13th of his career. And as Austin Rook told you at halftime, he is the Big East scoring champion. He needed 8 points to get past Quincy Oliveri, as the free throw is good here, and he did so. 70 to 52, 4:17 to go. Castle will walk it into the forecourt, between the circles. Comes left now for Spencer. Spencer dumps it off high for Newton. Now curling back to the left is Castle. And now Castle, Spencer, catch and shoot three. Nope, short. Rebound, Friars control the ball. Up the floor for Carter again on the right sideline. Stops outside the three-point stripe. Loses the ball and taken back by Spencer, but then Carter takes it back top of the key. Now finds Oduro. He's going to work on Klingon in the post. Kicks the ball back out to Carter. 35-footer, short, long rebound, chased down. Comes out of bounds on the near side. And Spencer slaps the table, thinking he had a shot at it. The Friars will have the ball after a timeout.
How about that? Spencer slaps the table over here. He's up 70 to 52 with 3:41 to go, and he's still playing like the game's tied.
And that's why UConn is maybe one of the best teams in the nation, maybe the one of the best teams we've seen in a long time. Timeout, Friars down with 3:41 to go from Learfield. This is Providence Friar basketball. I have a feeling, Andrew, this will be the last timeout we take. Is that the one that's all music? Then we don't need to play it.
Why do they have a timeout with all music? What would that have
I have no idea. I think they just put a fifth timeout in there because they knew that they would have a fifth timeout. I don't know why they didn't bonus somebody. All right. Just let me know. And if we need to use it, then we can play it somewhere in the postgame if we have to. Because I don't think anybody's going to call a timeout here. Yeah.
Earlier today, the Friars had their 7th assist of the game. Congratulations to Mike. Tonight's lucky 7th performance presented by Rhode Island Lottery.
You know what I think? I think Hurley's calling off the dog, so in the post game, he can make the case for Providence still being an NCAA team.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
No, they're just slowing it down now. They run the clock down.
Yeah.
All right, fans, make some noise for tonight's jersey can. Make sure
I don't think anybody's going to buy it either. Huh? No one's going to buy it.
Jersey Nights is a proud sponsor.
All you got to do is watch it.
SeatGeek is now the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Providence Friars. And whether you're buying or selling basketball tickets, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek, so Friar fans can fan. John and Joe back here in the AMP, 70-52 UConn.
Well, UConn team is really efficient, John. They run that half-court set. They're using the clock right now, just getting good looks. I mean, they missed a couple of wide-open shots here down the stretch, but they got the game in hand. They're just trying to run out the clock now, and they're not shooting the ball very well in the second half. They're only 11 for 29, but they went on that 40-9 run, and you mentioned, John, to close the half. That's just amazing how efficient they were out there. They're 4 for 9 in the second half from 3. 2 for 2 from the line. The Friars 10 for 22 in the second half, 4 for 12 from 3. Rebounding battle, UConn's won that as well, 37-32. 12 of those have been offensive rebounds. When you're efficient, like UConn is scoring the ball, you can't give them 12 more opportunities. And 15 turnovers by the Friars, so there's 15 possessions that UConn was able to take advantage of where the Friars didn't get a shot.
15 turnovers, just 10 UConn points. But the turnovers are missed possessions. Inbounds comes from Barron out to Carter. Up high with it is Oduro. He's going to drive right on Klingon. Bounces his way in with the bank shot. Off the glass, no good. Carter gets the offensive rebound and goes up. Jumps into Klingon, and Klingon is called for the foul.
Well, he got Klingon off his foot. Good rebound there by Carter. He pumped fake, got him up in the air, and then created the contact.
Kong Klingon with his third personal. He's had 9 points in the half. He's got 11 for the game, including his second made 3 of his season. And it'll be Carter going to line to shoot 2. Devin 2 of 4 from the line of the ball game, and that one bounces and stays. That gives him now 8 in the half, 23 for the game. The Big East Conference scoring champ for 2024.
I see Devin Carter's father sitting over there on the courtside seats. He looks like the Green Hornet over there. He's got green sneakers on and green sweatshirt.
Second shot is good for Carter. Barron back into the game for the Friars as well. I actually checked that. That's Corey Floyd back into the game for him. Newton handles it in the backcourt against the pressure. Lob pass to Castle. Jump pass to Spencer. Spencer drives left, lays it up, scores.
How about that move? It looked like he's going to throw an alley-oop and then tucked it in and went right under the arms of Otero and lays it up.
First basket of the half for Spencer. It gives him 10 for the game. Makes it 72-54. The Friars were only down by 16. Here's Carter. Gets underneath, wraps around, puts up the shot. Can't get it. Rebound for Klingon on the right side. Little wraparound shot that Klingon might have bothered, and then Klingon got the rebound. Castle has it right side as we dip under 3 minutes to play. Between the circles with it is Spencer. Dumps it off the high post for Klingon. Klingon stops, looks, faces the defense out of the top of the key. Friars play way off of him. Hands off to Caravan, who rolls down the middle of the lane, throws up the runner, missed it. Carter with the rebound.
They play off him, but everybody's moving for Connecticut. They're cutting off screens and everything. He's looking for somebody to pass it to.
Right side, Oduro, wide open three-pointer. Missed that one. Long rebound, chased down in the corner. And Floyd thought he had it, and then Spencer fouled him going for the ball.
Spencer never gives up on a play. I mean, he plays with intensity every second he's out there.
You know, that's the one thing that I really love about this Connecticut team. I mean, they're like 5 whirling dervishes out there on the floor with that constant movement. And Spencer, you're right, he just doesn't give up.
No, they don't stand around. They're always moving. And Klingham's like their relief valve. He takes the ball at the top of the key, and everybody's cutting, and he's looking for an open man.
Spencer's first foul of the game. The team fell 6. Pierre looks for the inbounds. He finds Oduro, gives it right back to Jaden. Jaden's going to penetrate against Klingon. Puts it up off the glass. Short. It won't go in. Klingon disturbed that one. Newton now handles it in the backcourt with 2:24 to play. Newton to the right side toward his coach, Danny Hurley. Now out front for Caravan. Caravan left sideline for Spencer. High post for Klingon. Klingon turns and looks, stops outside the three-point stripe, dumps it off on the right wing for Castle, who leads in with the left hand, and he scores.
Nice move there by Castle.
7 for Castle, 14 for the game. And with 2:01 to go, Hurley still got mostly his starters out on the floor. He's going to bring Samson Johnson back into the game as Klingon will go to the sideline. And Danny Hurley waving now to the UConn fans as Klingon comes out. Spencer comes out. I think now he's going to start to put some subs in with 2 minutes to go and his team up by 20 again.
Well, whoever he puts in, he's got some good players on the bench who never get to play because the guys ahead of him way better.
Pierre has Carter, top of the key with it. Carter cuts off a screen to the left, rolls down the left side of the lane on Johnson, looks for the wraparound, clears it all the way through out front for Pierre, launches the 3, and he hits first tray of the ball game for Jaden Pierre.
Well, again, Carter drawing so much attention to himself, that frees up somebody, and Jaden knocked down the three.
74-57, 1:34 to go. Castle has it in the right wing. Now on the right corner, underneath for Diarra. Diarra drives the lane left, bounces back out front for Newton. They're just going to work some clock here to get it down close to a minute to go. And then Coach Hurley will bring in a couple of subs more. Newton in the center circle on Carter, gives it back to Johnson. Caravan right side against Rich Barron. Turnaround for Johnson, and the lane goes up. Got the shot partially blocked as the shot clock goes off. Carter grabs the rebound again. Carter's in transition into the forecourt. Barron's going to go a deep three around the rim. It won't stick. Foul on the floor is called.
Diarra in the back.
Diarra, I think, pushed Gaines underneath. Yep. And it's called on Diarra. And that's going to put the Friars at the line on the 7th team foul with an even 60 seconds to play. Floyd back in for the Friars. And you've got Danny Hurley now clearing the bench. Solomon Ball, freshman from Virginia. Jaden Ross, freshman from Bristol, Virginia. You got Apostolos Romaglu, sophomore from Greece. Here's Castro back in for the Friars. And you've got Yusuf Singare, the freshman from Mali at 6'10". He's coming in for UConn as well.
And guess what? James Breeding is at the monitor.
It's the first time he's come to the monitor tonight. Well, there's only 60 seconds left, and he had to get to the monitor once. Donovan Santoro getting ready to come into the game as well for the Friars for the last 60 seconds. As Gaines is going to get a 1-and-1 of the foul line.
Well, they've been yelling at him the whole game.
Danny Hurley's chirping with the Friar fans right behind us to the right, having a nice conversation. And I just read his lips, and you just got your bleep busted. And the free throw is no good by Gaines as he misses the front end of the 1-and-1. So with the ball in the backcourt is Ball now for UConn. Comes off a high screen, drives to the right. In the right corner, three-pointer is up. No good, and the rebound for Pierre. Pierre in transition against the Husky backup. Going to pull up for a deep three and hit.
Yeah, I wish he'd do that more often. I mean, he doesn't look for that shot. He doesn't look for shooting enough.
8.5, 9 for the game. And as Ball gets the ball into the forecourt, I guess there's a hold. Was there a foul?
Yeah, Breeding called it from midcourt. Clockety's looking right at it 2 feet away, and he calls a foul, reach-around foul.
With 38.3 on the clock. So foul is called on Pierre. That's his third with 38 seconds to go. And that's just the 5th on the Friars here in the half. Santoro into the game for Ticket Gaines. And the fans give Gaines a nice round of applause on his way off the floor on senior night. Ball will inbound from the near side. 38 seconds to go, and the Friars down 14. It's as close as they've been since midway through the first half after they got out to that incredible 15-2 lead. Here's Singari with the ball on the high post on the right side. A handoff there for Ball. Ball pulls it out against Pierre. About 7 seconds difference between the clocks. Ball now finds Singari up high as Castro's going to play way off him, and Singari's just going to hold on to the ball. Wants somebody to come get it. Down to 5, down to 4, down to 3.
Well, Hurley told him to hold the ball.
And there's a foul.
Santoro goes over and fouls.
I'm not sure why you did that. Santoro, because he had one to give. 10 seconds left. Yep.
Well, Kim English put his hand over his face on that foul, but now Kanega just throws it in and holds the ball.
And that should do it. Yep.
Well, Hurley was going to hold the ball. He wasn't even going to shoot on that last possession.
Ball gets it into the backcourt to Ross, and that's going to do it. They're going to run the clock out. And Danny Hurley holds his finger to his lips and tells the Friar fans, watch what you say off the floor.
I like Danny Hurley. I mean, he's an intense guy. He brings, he prepares his team. They're yelling at Hurley. What are they yelling at him for? I mean, but Danny should just not pay attention. The worst thing he can do is say something to the fans. That's what they want. Danny should just keep walking. He's done a great job at UConn.
But that's not Danny Hurley. That's not his personality. He likes to engage.
Yeah, he likes to engage. But hey, he's done a great job with his team. And last year's team.
Done a super job. Final score. Number 2 ranked UConn, 74. Providence, 60. As Hurley and Devin Carter embrace at the end of the bench. And obviously, he had some good words to say for Devin there. And he exits stage left here inside the amp.
He goes to say something to Hopkins
he's right. Yeah, he's over there talking to Bryce Hopkins. Yep. And the Connecticut Huskies set a Big East record with their 18th conference win. That's quite an accomplishment in 44 years with this league.
He's done a really good job. I mean, he's got a fiery personality, but he likes to give it up for his team. He prepares them very well. I mean, they're efficient out there, and he runs a good shop. I mean, you got to give him credit. I mean, probably shouldn't say anything to the fans who are giving him a razz out there. Just like, you don't need rabbit ears. Just put the earplugs in and forget about it.
All right, our Santander postgame show is coming up next from Learfield. This is Providence Friar basketball.
24 points and 15 rebounds. Fans, we thank you for another amazing season here at the Lincoln Mutual Pavilion. Stay tuned to when the Friars will be in the Big East tournament. Drive home safely and go Friars.
It's got to be Carter. I mean, there's really nothing else we can say or do
Carter
here,
was.
Andrew. So,
Hey, Randall. How you doing, man?
hey, Randall, how are you, buddy? Good. It is. It is. 15 rebounds is a career high.
He was ridiculous, man.
Thank you.
I mean, the score didn't indicate the game, that's for sure. Losing by 14.
I know.
That's an impressive team.
So they have 5 in double figures. Balanced. 16, 14, 12, 11, 10. Yep.
And, and
Johnson had 8.
They all average in double figures. Those 5 guys average in double figures anyway. But they normally just play 7 guys, and all 7 guys contribute.
Yep.
Diarra had 1 3-pointer at the end of the half, but his presence on the floor is good. I mean, he had 4 assists. He plays good defense.
Uh-oh, we may have something going on over here.
A little bit too much alcohol, probably.
Jesus. So in the second half, the lead got up as much as 26 with 5:59 to go. 26 twice, right? And then the Friars outscored them in the last 5:59, 16-4.
Oh, they
36-32
36-32 in the second half. But
yeah.
It was all garbage time, really.
So you had a 15-2 run to open the game and a 16-4 run to close the game.
Well, it was 16-4 was like garbage time.
Yes, it was garbage
Connecticut
time.
was pulling it out. I mean, when Friars, if they kept attacking like they normally attack, they would have scored 100 points.
Easily. I told you, I thought that maybe Hurley pulled the dogs off.
Well, he was just using the clock. I mean, I have respect for that guy. I mean, he's done everywhere he's been, he's won.
Yep.
Wagner,
Yep.
URI, and
Yep.
now Connecticut.
Yeah, I agree. He's very good.
I mean, so he's a little fiery. Hey, what do you want him to be, a wallflower? I mean, he's a wallflower. I mean, I like his intensity.
Yep. Hey,
his players love it,
buddy. What was that one with the UConn players walking off the floor? Were they waving to the crowd?
Hey.
Yeah. No kidding. So the Friars will play 6:30 on Wednesday.
6:30 on Wednesday. Okay.
Yep. Against Ed Cooley.
Is this Hurley's first win at the Civic Center here against Providence? Yeah.
First. Good one. That's right. First win in the AMP against the Friars.
Right.
Wow. I'll mention that coming back here. His 14th game against the Friars, he finally gets a win against them here.
They played 14 times, and that's the first win.
Second straight year losing our last 2 games at home.
Yep. 2 years in a row. That's right. We've lost 2 straight at the end. Yeesh.
We started against Villanova like we did. That we would have won that game.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Yeah, that was the first made and the only made field goal of the ball game for Ticket Games. Came in the second half. He ended up with 6 points for the game, and it helped the Friars to a little bit of a spurt at the end, really in garbage time. But UConn rolls over the Friars 74-60 to sweep the season series over Providence. And Danny Hurley, in the 14th career game that he has coached against Providence College, counting his time at URI and UConn, he beats Providence in Providence for the very first time.
Yeah, he had some. The fans were on him pretty good at the end of the game, but I'll tell you what, you might not like the guy, but you got to respect him. I mean, he's a very good coach, and he's done a terrific job with that team since he's been at UConn. They won a national championship last year with him as a coach, and they're better this year, in my opinion. They're a wagon. I mean, they got 7, 8 deep, and they all can play. I mean, they're really good.
I'm absolutely in agreement with you on that one. The story of this game really came with about 5 minutes to play or 5 minutes deep into the first half. The Friars jumped out in the opening 3.5 minutes to a 15-2 lead over Connecticut. They were a buzzsaw early. But as we said a couple of times throughout the course of the game, Joe, methodically, slowly, deliberately, UConn kept punching away like a heavyweight boxer going to the midsection of his opponent. And before too long, they just had too much talent out on the floor, and they flogged the Friars 40-9 in the last 15 minutes of the first half, and took an 18-point lead into the locker room.
Well, Devin Carter was just awesome out there, getting them going that 15-2 run, and he was gassed. He and Pierre were really tired. The first timeout didn't come until 13-13 to go in the first half, and Connecticut just kept wearing them down. And I think Carter has to come out, actually, and he was just playing great basketball. I think the second foul on Oduro hurt the momentum a little bit. I thought it was a weak call, It said he reached across on that one, and now you're in trouble. You got to take Oduro out. There was 12 minutes to go in the first half, and he picked up 2 fouls in a row. Then you got to come in with Castro, so you lose something offensively, a guy who runs the show out there. But I think the Friars, Carter and Oduro can't score all the points. They had 21 of the 24 points at one point, and the Friars were stuck on 24. And the efficiency of UConn, everybody on the floor for UConn can score. They all can shoot the ball. They move well without the ball. Friars are trying to fight over the screen, and that, believe me, that wears you down. You keep getting screened every time you're trying to fight over the top. They were able to do that to start the game, John. They got stops. Connecticut got one shot at the basket, missed it. The Friars came down and scored, and then they just got exhausted. I mean, Carter wanted to come out, and Pierre was gassed out there. When they finally called the timeout, those guys were thrilled they were calling the timeout, but just didn't have enough help from the other players.
That's it.
Pierre had 2 3-pointers at the end of the game. It was garbage time, but he needs to look for his shot more. And he meant to the basket, missed a couple of layups. But Carter and Oduro can't score all the points, and they get nothing from Floyd. They got nothing from Ticket Gaines and nothing from Pierre. And you're not deep anyway. Gawi Duell didn't play because of the flu. So you can't beat a team like Connecticut, as good as they are, John, and so potent on offense. And they're very good defensively with just 2 guys scoring.
Yeah, it's pretty clear to see UConn has 7 players on this team. So it's very deep that can score basically against anybody and play for just about anybody in this conference. And so it was a clear message that, for the Friars to be able to achieve what they want to get to, they've got to have better depth. They've got to have more scorers because you're right. 2 guys combined for 37 of their 60 points on the board tonight.
Yeah, you need, not only depth, but you need guys who can score the basketball. Connecticut, you can't slough off anybody. They're all running off screens. They're moving well without the ball. and Klingham's up in the top of the key. So you don't want to guard Klingham away from the basket. He makes a 3 in the ball game. He was 1 for 5 for the year, but he makes the 3. But you want him out there. But he's a very patient, willing passer, and they keep moving. They don't stand around. Everybody's cutting, they're setting screens, and when he finds the right guy, they're usually open, and they make the shot. And that's how they do the 40-9 run. They didn't miss anything, but they're just that's a very, very good basketball team.
Well, as UConn led it at halftime, 42-24, they were able to get the lead up as much as 26 on 2 occasions in the second half before the Friars closed in the last 6 minutes of the game with a 16-4 run. So, I know it was garbage time, but the Friars in the first 4 minutes of the game, 15-2. Last 6 minutes of the game, 16-4. In between, Providence was outscored by 39.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you need more balance to score.
Yeah.
When the Friars, for the Friars to win 10 games this year in conference with Hopkins going down, that's a great treat. But Connecticut, you need guys who can score and look to score. I think Pierre needs to look to score in ball games, but he wasn't looking to score. And
nope.
I thought defensively, Connecticut is very good on the ball, and you can be good defensively with their big guys inside. Their shot blockers, Klingham. You can get up on the defense against the Friars and make them go to the basket because Klingham's right there. He can block shots and challenge things at the rim. And the kid who comes in for him as a sub, Johnson, he plays above the rim. So they're just a very efficient basketball team. And I think they're better than they were last year.
Well, UConn improved to 28-3 overall, 18-2 in the Big East regular season champs, a conference record 18 wins during the course of the year. And it's going to be a roll on for them in New York this week. I mean, they're the top seeded team, and I suppose that a team like Creighton or maybe even Marquette could challenge them for the tournament title because those two teams, when they shoot the ball well, they shoot lights out. For the Friars to win a game like this, they have to shoot incredibly well and hope the other team misses, and that didn't happen tonight.
Yeah, the Friars needed to shoot 65, 70% in this ball game. Keep shooting the way they started the game, but you need more guys to make shots. Everybody's got to contribute. Carter can't shoot all the shots himself, and I don't think anybody's going to touch UConn in the Big East tournament. I just think they're too good. And I don't know if they'll ever lose a game the rest of the year. I think they're the odds-on favorite to win the national championship, in my opinion. I mean, I think Houston's a team that's very difficult to guard.
Because they can defend.
They can defend, and they play a fast pace, and they all can shoot it. So that'll be a good matchup. But, I'd be shocked if Connecticut loses a game.
Friars finished the regular season 19-12, 10-10 in Big East play. We'll talk more about the upcoming week ahead at the Madison Square Garden Big East tournament and recap this one a bit more. But the Friars drop it a second straight game here at home for a second straight season as they lose to Connecticut tonight, 74-60. More coming up of our Santander postgame wrap-up in a moment from Learfield. This is Providence Friar basketball. It's all right. I don't care. Thanks. Who the hell knows? All right, so where's the bracket? I need to find a bracket here. Yeah, can you find it? You get. I think I've got the scores, but I want to look at the bracket. All right.
You here tomorrow? Nah. Oh, okay. I'll see you around. I'll see you then.
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, there's a pathway. You beat Georgetown, you got to pop Creighton, who you've beaten, and then you're going to have to beat Marquette.
Yeah, I mean, I like the bracket we're in.
The bracket's fine.
Yeah.
There's a pathway to win. There's a pathway to get there.
Yeah.
There is a pathway, but you're going to have to win some games. I don't know if we have enough left in the tank.
Oh, we'll be all right. They'll get back.
Yeah, just make sure that the last segment, Austin, we can have a look at that. See, there's the security guard stepping in front of Danny as he's egging on one of the fans to come out on the floor, and security guard is stepping in here.
Yeah,
See, look, come on. And he's like, you don't want to do this, coach.
Yeah.
See, look. See, you don't want to do that, coach. You don't want to do that. Look at that. That's fine. Okay. Oh, just okay. All right. Cool. Thank you. Andrew, appreciate your pinch hitting tonight. Tiffany sounded like she was dying.
Would she have the flu?
I don't know what she had, but I know it had been a 14-hour day for her. So.
Oh, that's brutal, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
14-hour day. Who does that? Doctors do that when they're
this is radio.
Residency.
Okay, this is radio. 14 hours a day for about $5 an hour.
Forget that.
Jesus. Am I lying, Andrew? Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Push buttons for 14 hours.
Yes, they can. If they had some teammates that could also match up with Connecticut, then it wouldn't be a 74-60 final score here. John and Joe back at the amp here as we continue with our Santander postgame report.
Yeah, I just felt like Pierre and Corey Floyd, and they played tentative offensively. They were waiting for something bad to happen. I mean, Pierre had a bunch of turnovers, which is not like him.
I want you to see this. Danny Hurley just said in the postgame interview room, we knew we were playing a team that deserves to be in the NCAA tournament. Told you he would do that.
Well, I mean, he's a guy that, again, it's easy to dislike him because he engages with the fans. He probably should just walk off the court. You got a great team and just congratulate the other team. But I mean, he engages with the fan, gets everybody mad at him. But, Providence, 10-10 this year and have some good wins and, they battled with everybody. So they're on the bubble. They have to go, beat Georgetown for the third time now and take their shot at the next game.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a minute, but there's definitely a pathway for the Friars. It's just going to be, a little bit more difficult than you originally thought. If you had won this game tonight, you were probably in. So, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. Let's take a look at the quick numbers here. The Huskies again improved to 28-3 and 18-2. Dominant numbers in the Big East Conference this year, and they have 5 players in double figures. And this is the kind of balance that you need on the floor in order to be successful at the rate that the Huskies have been successful at. 16 points for Alex Karaban to lead them in scoring with 3 rebounds. He was 6 of 14 from the floor, but 4 of 6 from 3. Then he had 14 points, 6 boards for Stefan Castle, who's clearly going to be the freshman of the year and a likely one and done for the Huskies. Then 12 points and 8 rebounds for Tristan Newton with 5 assists in this game as well. And to me, he's who I think probably will end up getting Player of the Year, although it's going to be up to the coaches. They're the ones that decide on this award. Devin Carter had a superb night tonight with a career high in rebounding as well, and then you can't count out Baylor Shireman, I don't think, from Creighton. So, but do the coaches pick the best player on the best team? Then they'd likely pick Newton. And then he had 10 points from Cam Spencer with 5 assists as well, and he had just 1 of 6 from 3. So they did a decent job, I thought, on Spencer tonight. But, Joe, he was just constantly moving tonight on both ends, on offense and defense.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job on him last time, too. He was 8 for 8 from the foul line in the last ball game, Spencer. But he's a good play. He does a nice job using those screens. And Tristan Newton, I mean, he was only 3 for 12. So the backcourt for Connecticut was just 7 for 25 from the floor. So they did a good job on those guys. But Karaban and Castle, they really took advantage of the Friars. When you think about it too, John, they had 19 assists on 29 made baskets.
That's incredible.
So they move the ball and they throw the extra pass. When they come down, they throw 4 or 5 passes almost every possession.
Diarra had 3 off the bench, 8 points, 6 boards for Samson Johnson, backing up Donovan Klingon. And that's the scoring. Huskies shot 29 of 68. That's just 43%. But they hit 11 threes out of 27 attempts for 41%. and they were 5 of 6 from the line, only took 6 free throws the whole game. They out-rebounded the Friars 40-38, so not a bad job by the Friars, but again, a lot of that, the last 6.5 minutes of the game was when the game was already decided, and the Friars made up some numbers there very clearly, and just 7 turnovers in the entire game. For the Huskies, they just know how to take care of the ball. But the troubling spot, I think, for the Friars here, Joe, 11 made threes for UConn at the end of the game. We mentioned this is now the last 4 games. The Friar defense has allowed 42 made three-pointers.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the game in Connecticut where the Friars played a physical game, and Connecticut shot 36 free throws and made 26 of them. But they were 4 for 23 from three-point range in that game. So Friars have been giving up a lot of three-pointers in the last 4 or 5 games. So that kind of hurts you defensively.
No question.
But, they have to tighten that up a little bit better.
Just 2 Friars in double figures are the 2 who you thought would be there. Devin Carter with a magnificent individual performance, 24 points and a career-high 15 rebounds. 14 of those were on the defensive glass at 6'4" out there on the floor, and he had 9 of 19 from the floor, hit 2 of 7 from 3. He had 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. I mean, he played like a player of the year. The problem is the team might not be good enough to get him there.
Well, it's not the team of the year. It's the player of the year.
I'm telling you how the coaches vote.
Well, I don't care how they vote. The player of the year should be Devin Carter.
I agree with you. I'm totally with you on that one. His numbers far and away blow everybody else away.
And I'll tell you why he should be. Not only does he play on the offensive end, leading the league in scoring.
Plays on the defense.
He stops everybody he plays against. The guys he guarded tonight, Tristan Newton, he shut out. That's the guy who's supposed to get. Well, you think
he could be. I think he could be. And he was 3 of 12.
He was 3 of 12, and you locked him up down in Connecticut too. Tristan Newton in the UConn game down there, he was 3 of 9, 0 for 3 from 3-point range.
So he's 6 for 21 against the Friars shooting the ball.
And Devin Carter plays most of the time. So. I mean, if you're going to match that up, Shireman's having a better year than Newton, I believe. But because they have a great team, that doesn't mean he should win it. But, yeah, I know what you're saying. They
totally
vote
agree.
Like that, but
the coaches like to put the player of the year as the best player on the best team. That's what they've always done.
Well, if you're going to call it the player of the year, then he should be the player of the year. It has nothing to do with the team.
Agreed.
My vote would be for Devin Carter.
Of course, and mine would be too. And I'm just saying
he
that's
scores
what I
24 points and 15 rebounds against
the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
13 points and 11 rebounds for Josh Oduro. So Josh ends up with a double-double. By the way, it was Devin's 12th double-double of the year, the 13th of his career. Oduro with 13 and 11, the 5th double-double for Josh, and the 20th of his career in that one. But the trouble is the rest of the team. 9 points, 3 rebounds for Jaden Pierre. He had 8 of the 9 in the second half when it really didn't matter. Ticket Gaines, 6 points, no rebounds, 1 for 5 shooting. Corey Floyd Jr., 2 points, 4 rebounds, 0 for 2 from the floor in 28 minutes, just 2 shots. And then off the bench, Rich Barron hit 2 3-pointers in the second half. That's it. Providence was 20 of 57 shooting the ball for the game. They took 11 fewer shots than UConn did. It made 35% of them. They were 8 for 27 from 3. That's just under 30%. 12 of 16 from the free throw line. They got out-rebounded by 2. 15 turnovers in this game. That was a killer.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Friars got off to that 15-2 start. It was all Devin Carter. I mean, he was making everything, and Oduro was making everything. But the rest of the Friars didn't contribute offensively, and it was just a matter of time before Connecticut got everybody involved, and that's how they ended up taking the lead.
Sellout crowd, capacity plus 12,608. The official attendance tonight here in the AMP as the Friars unfortunately drop a second straight game on senior night for a second straight year here inside the AMP. And at 19-12 overall, what's left to go? Well, you've got the Big East tournament next week at Madison Square Garden. We'll have the schedule. We'll have when the Friars will be playing and what the pathway will be to getting into the March Madness. That's coming up as we wrap up our Santander postgame show from Learfield. This is Providence Friar basketball. You come back with that last Carter play. Hey, Maury. How are you, buddy? How's it going?
Hey, Maury. How you doing, man?
I totally agree with you. It should be Devins. But
it's crazy,
I'm just telling you, the coaches, they're going to well, UConn's got to get something. I know how they think. Well, because Hurley's going to get Coach of the Year. He's going to get it. Yeah, it's going to happen. He's going to get that. There will be a little bit of sentiment for Shaheen, but nobody likes Shaheen.
I know.
That's the deal. So
Well,
I'll tell you what could happen.
You could put two guys on the
That's
all-tournament
that's
team.
what
I mean,
I'm
on the all.
That's
Big
what I'm
East team.
thinking. That this award might get split.
Yeah. Well, you can put. You don't have to put. The player of the year doesn't have to be on the all-league team, right? So you put 5 guys on the all-league team,
And
2
then
of them
you
in
put-
Connecticut, and make him player of the year. That's
Right.
what I would do.
Yeah.
And
I
the
would do that too.
defensive player of the year, you can't get. You know what they might do is give him defensive player of the year. But how you not give it to Kalkbrenner? Kalkbrenner today dominated that game
He
in the
did
paint.
down the stretch. He
I
did.
mean,
and he's a 2-time defending player. And so, I mean, unless the coaches somehow feel that he's head and shoulders over what Kalkbrenner did, he's not going to get it.
no.
I think they'll split the award. I do. I think that that would be the fair thing to do because Devin deserves it. He deserves a piece of that.
Well, one year, remember the year when Dunn got it over,
Yes.
and everybody was talking about give it to the kid from Villanova.
From Villanova, yeah. Diacono.
No,
yeah.
not Diacono, the other guy. Hart.
Gillespie. No, Hart.
Hart.
You're right. Yeah,
it was
Josh,
between,
yeah.
it was
Josh
between
Hart. That's right.
And
Yeah.
Dunn. And
Yeah.
they gave it to Dunn. The coaches all voted for Dunn, and he wasn't. And they won the national championship with that team.
That's true.
So
that is true.
You know, I mean, I think,
Because his talent was overwhelming, and I think that's part of it.
well, Carter's talent is pretty impressive.
I don't disagree. I hope you're right.
Hey, it's not going to change my lifestyle, but I mean,
No.
the best player is the best player.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
You know, Shyman, how you say Shyman? I mean, the last shot of the game, who they go to? Alexander is one of the best players in the league.
And he scored on that elbow jumper,
Yeah.
which is his shot.
Yeah. They went to him.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hey, John.
You know, Oduro deserves to make, one of the Big East teams too. I hope he can squeeze into
Do
the
they have
second
3
team.
teams or just 2?
Just 2. And then it's honorable mention after that.
Yeah, he'll get out.
But he'll get honorable mention though.
He did outplay most of the centers this year that he played against.
Yeah. Here we go. He tried to do it all by himself the entire game, and Devin Carter, without question, is our Audi Warwick outstanding performance of the game with his 12th double-double of the season, 24 points, and a career-high 15 rebounds.
Yeah, he's a highlight film out there, and he's just and you can't measure what he does on defense. I mean, he just anticipates so well, and he locks up. Everybody he plays against doesn't score, has a bad night. Every single person he's played against this year, John, has had a bad night. And that's incredible when you think about that. I mean, who's had a good night scoring against him? Nobody.
I'm not sure anybody has this year, and I think that's part of the reason why I agree with you, as we were having the impassioned reasoning behind the Big East Player of the Year, which will get named by the Big East coaches on Wednesday at Madison Square Garden. There's no question in my mind overall that Devin has been the best player from start to finish most of this year, especially, Joe, when Bryce Hopkins went down. I mean, you can make the case
better.
He got better, exactly, and carried this team on his shoulders and got them to 10 wins. And I agree with you. I fear that the coaches are going to say, well, we need to make sure that somebody from UConn is in there because they've been so dominant. And Newton is probably the one you can look at because of his overall numbers, even though basically Devin won that one-on-one battle with him this year.
Yeah.
So it could be maybe they'll split the award. And I think if there's any fairness to it at all, Devin needs to get a piece of that.
Well, Connecticut, John, they have great balance, so they don't. There's no one guy who's really outstanding. If you look at Connecticut's team, you look at their, Spencer, Castle, Newton, Klingham, Caravan. They're all terrific players, but nobody stands out as being like the best player, in my opinion.
Because it's incredible depth.
They're in balance.
Balance.
You have to play everybody. You don't know who you're going to guard on that team. You can't slough off anybody. They're all really good. Then you have a guy like Carter who, if he played on that team, he might be the same, averaging 14 points a game or something like that because they all move the ball and they have all guys who are very good.
Right.
But Carter gets more opportunities at Providence because he needs to score because the other guys on the team help him aren't as good as scorers as Connecticut is. So to make a point as a best player in the year, the kind of year that Carter had, I mean, there's a lot of reasoning why he should be named Player of the Year.
I would totally concur with that. We'll see what the coaches decide. The announcement will come Wednesday at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday before the first games of the tournament. Wrapping up the regular season in the Big East tonight, Seton Hall has just gone final. They win at home over DePaul 83-62. Earlier today, it was 8th-ranked Marquette winning on the road at Xavier 86-80. 10th-ranked Creighton won on the road after blowing a 24-point first-half lead. They won at Villanova 69-67. We were just talking about that. Trey Alexander hit the game winner with 1/10 of a second left, an elbow jumper, which is what he likes to do. He may be the only guy in the league that really likes shooting those, pull-up, jumpers from inside the arc.
Well, he's a really good player. You talk about players of the year, and I talk about Shireman, who's a very good player there for Creighton. But, who they go to at the end of the game? They went to Trey Alexander, and he hits clutch points, and he's a very good defensive player, too. He got a big stop at the other end to put him in that position to get the winning score. So, he's very good, and he'll get overlooked for a lot of awards this year.
Likely. And then the other game was earlier today. St. John's held on at home, and they beat Georgetown 86-78, the final score in that one. So this sets up the bracket thusly. Opening up on Wednesday at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, the 8-9 game will be Butler and Xavier. Butler, the 8 seed, Xavier, the 9 seed, with that loss at home to Marquette tonight. At 6:30 on Wednesday, Providence, the 7 seed, against 10th seeded Georgetown. So the Friars and Ed Cooley will hook up for a third time this year. 6:30 tip at Madison Square Garden on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a good draw for the Friars. You come in, you go in there and get Georgetown for a third time, and then you get up, you got to play who we play. We play Creighton if you win that game. So, Friars are beating Creighton this year, and, it's an opportunity to get a win there if you get a chance, and who knows what can happen.
Villanova, the 6 seed, will take on 11-seeded DePaul at 9 p.m. tip on Wednesday. And then on quarterfinal Thursday, number 1 seed UConn will, at noon, will take on the Butler Xavier winner. The 4 seed is Seton Hall. They will take on 5th-seeded St. John's, who closed really well. 5 straight wins to end the regular season. They get the 5 seed, and St. John's may have very well played themselves into the tournament.
Yeah, I think they're in. They got the 11th win today, and they finished up with Georgetown and DePaul, which kind of helped things. But they had a big win in the Garden against Creighton, which that helped their cause as well.
And the 2 seed, the Creighton Blue Jays, for that win that they had on the road at Villanova today. And Creighton will await the winner of Providence and Georgetown, and that game will be 7 p.m. on Thursday night.
Creighton's won 8 out of the last 9 games, and nobody's talking about that. I mean,
Nope.
they're rolling right now, and they're playing good basketball.
I was just thinking while watching, UConn blitzkrieg through the Friars in this one today. There's one team in this league that can potentially match UConn basket for basket like that. It is Creighton, because Creighton did beat UConn by 19 in Omaha.
Yeah, and they all shot the ball lights out. They had like 15 3-pointers in that game. Everybody was making shots, and that's the only way you're going to beat UConn. You have to make shots, really efficient, and knock down 3-pointers to beat them. And
Marquette gets the 3 seed. They will play at 9:30 on Thursday, the final game of quarterfinal Thursday. They'll play the winner of Villanova and DePaul. And, of course, the semifinals we played on Friday night at the Garden at 5:30 and at 8 o'clock, with the championship game on Saturday night at 6:30 for those of you that are thinking about making that trip to MSG.
Well, Big East tournament coming up, and the Friars have to find a way to win a couple of games.
There is a pathway. We just talked about it. You've got Georgetown, who you've beaten twice. You've got to win that game on Wednesday. And then you've split with Creighton. And I think the Friars must beat Creighton to consider an at-large spot on the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, they'd have to win that game, and you're still in the hunt.
You're in the hunt if you win games.
Last 4 in right now, and so I mean, you're around it, and you got to hope for some upsets in other conferences, and maybe you get a win, 2 wins in the Garden.
So if you can get 2 wins in the Garden and maybe advance to the semifinals on Friday against Marquette, maybe you face a Marquette team that does or doesn't have Tyler Kolek. We don't know yet, but that could be an opportunity to play your way on Saturday. And if you could win, 2 or 3 games in New York, I think you're playing next week in the NCAAs.
Yeah, I hope so, because you probably hit UConn again in the finals, which you want to have 3 wins by then.
Yeah, I think you better have something in the bank, right? Oh, my goodness. All right, so that's coming up again this next week. Hey, our thanks to studio producers Tiffany Van Nerden and Andrew Meehan for a job well done tonight, for our engineer Matt Morrell, and for our halftime and statistician here, Austin Rook, my partner Joe Hassett. I'm John Rook. Again, our final score here is Connecticut 74 and Providence 60. And the Friars now will await the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden in New York on Wednesday night. They will tip it off with the 10th seeded Georgetown Hoyas beginning at 6:30 on Wednesday. We'll have the broadcast right here for you on News Talk 99.7 and AM 630 WPRO beginning at 6:10 p.m. on Wednesday night from MSG. And should the Friars beat Georgetown, then they would advance to the 7 p.m. game on Thursday night against second-seeded Creighton. So that's what lies ahead. You win those two games, hey, who knows? You still may be dancing within the madness. We'll begin talking about it next Wednesday, and we hope that you will join us at that time. Until then, so long, everybody. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate you. Thank you.